Have you ever wondered how a narcissist realizes that you've figured them out? What changes in their behavior? And why do they seem to shift their tactics once they know the truth is out? Understanding this dynamic can feel like unlocking a mystery, but it's also critical for protecting your mental and emotional well-being. In this video, we'll explore the subtle and not so subtle ways narcissists react when they sense that you've uncovered their true nature. From manipulative tactics to sudden withdrawal, we'll reveal the key signs to watch out for and discuss effective strategies for handling these situations. Stay with us until the end to learn not only how to identify these behaviors, but also how to regain your power and establish boundaries that safeguard your emotional health. Ready to dive in? Let's get started. 1. The narcissist's mask and its importance. Narcissists create a false image of themselves, a mask designed to portray them as perfect, charming, and superior. This mask is not just a simple exaggeration of their qualities, but a carefully constructed persona that serves a critical function in their lives. It acts as a shield, hiding their true self, which is often marked by insecurity and self-doubt. The mask allows narcissists to present themselves as idealized versions of themselves, carefully curated to meet societal expectations and gain admiration from others. This persona is carefully maintained and adjusted based on the people and situations they encounter, giving the narcissist the illusion of control over how they are perceived. They may present an image of success, beauty, intelligence, or power, all tailored to what they believe will impress or attract others. This mask is vital to their sense of self-worth and their deep need for external validation. Since narcissists typically struggle with low self-esteem, they rely on others' admiration and approval to feel good about themselves. The mask serves as a buffer between their fragile inner self and the outside world. It protects them from the discomfort of facing their vulnerabilities or any criticisms that may come their way. The narcissist's sense of identity is often fluid and contingent on how others view them, making the mask an essential tool in preserving their self-image. When others admire the image they've crafted, it temporarily boosts their self-esteem, and they feel validated. However, when they realize that someone can see through this mask, they become defensive and protective as their fragile ego is threatened. Narcissists fear being exposed as flawed or less than perfect, as this would shatter the carefully constructed image they rely on. The prospect of being seen as vulnerable or imperfect is terrifying to them because it undermines their entire sense of worth. When someone questions or challenges the image they've created, narcissists often react by becoming defensive, angry, or dismissive. They may deny the reality that has been pointed out, aggressively defend their image, or even attack the person who exposed the flaw. The vulnerability of their true self is hidden behind the mask, and if that mask begins to crack, they may feel exposed and deeply ashamed. The mask allows narcissists to control their image and influence others, manipulating how they are perceived and how others feel about them. It's a tool that helps them shape relationships, gain admiration, and secure a position of power or superiority. By presenting an idealized version of themselves, they attract admiration and respect from those and around them, feeding their need for validation. This ability to control how others perceive them is central to their manipulation of social situations. However, once the mask is cracked, once someone sees beyond the surface, narcissists often resort to tactics designed to maintain the illusion of perfection. These can include deflecting blame, denying their flaws, or exaggerating their virtues to keep the narrative in their favor. The narcissist's fear of being exposed as less than perfect drives them to go to great lengths to preserve their image, often leading to manipulative or destructive behaviors aimed at protecting the facade. 2. Increased defensiveness. When a narcissist senses that their facade is slipping, or that someone might be seeing beyond the carefully crafted image they have constructed, they often become significantly more defensive. The narcissist's ego is fragile, despite the outward appearance of confidence or superiority, and even the slightest hint that their true self, often insecure, flawed, or imperfect, is being exposed can trigger a strong defensive reaction. Their sense of identity is precariously built on external validation and admiration, so any challenge to this image is perceived as a direct threat to their self-worth. This vulnerability is something they cannot tolerate, as it forces them to confront the deep-seated fear of inadequacy or being seen as unworthy. This heightened defensiveness is often marked by a variety of reactions, all aimed at deflecting attention from their flaws and protecting their fragile self-image. One common response is to completely dismiss the concerns of others, often with contempt or disdain. If someone points out a flaw, inconsistency, or behavior that doesn't align with the idealized persona the narcissist has created, they may act as though the issue is insignificant or unworthy of attention. They may dismiss it outright with phrases like, "That's not true," or "You're overreacting," refusing to acknowledge any aspect of their behavior that could be seen as less than perfect. The goal here is to invalidate the concerns of others, making them feel like their perceptions are wrong or misplaced, which further protects the narcissist's image. In addition to dismissing concerns, narcissists may also resort to shifting blame onto others as a way to avoid accountability. If confronted with criticism or the revelation of a flaw, they may quickly point fingers at someone else, often in an attempt to redirect attention from their own imperfections. For instance, if they are called out for an action that contradicts their idealized image, they may accuse the person, raising the issue of being mistaken or biased. They might say things like, "This wouldn't have happened if you hadn't done X," or "You're the one who made me act that way." In doing so, they not only avoid taking responsibility for their own actions, but also manipulate the situation to make the other person feel at fault. This tactic shifts the focus away from the narcissist's flaws and reinforces their narrative of being blameless and perfect. Another common reaction to a threat to their image is irritability. Narcissists may become visibly angry, upset, or even hostile when their facade is challenged. This irritability is often disproportionate to the situation and is a defense mechanism used to intimidate or silence others. If the narcissist feels that their image is being undermined, they may react with sudden bursts of anger or frustration, demanding that the challenge be dropped or that the other person apologize. Their emotional outbursts are a way to regain control of the situation by creating a climate of fear or discomfort. This type of behavior can make those around them hesitant to continue addressing the issue, as they may fear further conflict or retaliation. The increased defensiveness is also a tactic used by narcissists to push back against what they perceive as a threat to their carefully constructed narrative. In their mind, any challenge to their image is not just a disagreement, but an existential crisis that undermines their entire sense of self. By becoming defensive, they aim to reassert control over the situation, disarm the other person, and reinforce the idea that they are right, superior, and deserving of admiration. In many cases, this defensiveness can escalate quickly, leading to more aggressive or manipulative tactics aimed at preventing others from seeing them as anything less than perfect. Ultimately, the narcissist's increased defensiveness is a survival mechanism designed to protect their fragile sense of self and maintain the illusion of perfection. Their emotional responses are not always proportional to the situation, but are rather a reflection of their deep-seated fear of being exposed as flawed or inferior. The narcissist's need for control and admiration means that any threat to their image must be countered swiftly and aggressively, even if it means resorting to irrational or extreme behavior. This defensiveness serves to reinforce their self-image and allows them to maintain dominance in their relationships, often at the expense of others' feelings or well-being. 3. Heightened criticism. When a narcissist feels that their facade is being threatened or their true self is being exposed, one of the most common reactions is to escalate their criticism of the person who posed the challenge. This heightened criticism is not a random outburst, but a calculated attempt to regain control and protect the narcissist's carefully constructed self-image. By attacking others, the narcissist seeks to deflect attention from their own vulnerabilities and flaws, redirecting focus to someone else's perceived shortcomings. The narcissist's goal is to diminish the other person's self-esteem, thereby rendering them less capable of challenging the narcissist's behavior or image. The criticism may take various forms, with the narcissist targeting aspects of the person's life that they believe will be most hurtful or effective in undermining their confidence. For example, they might criticize your appearance, making pointed remarks about your physical features, clothing, or overall style. These comments are designed to plant seeds of self-doubt, causing you to question your worth and feel insecure about yourself. Narcissists understand that targeting physical appearance can deeply affect an individual's self-esteem, as many people tie their value to how they look. By pointing out flaws, whether real or exaggerated, they try to make you feel inferior and less likely to stand up for yourself. In addition to personal appearance, narcissists may criticize your decisions or actions. They may belittle your choices, undermine your judgment, or suggest that you are incapable of making good decisions. This serves to weaken your confidence in your abilities, creating a sense of dependence on the narcissist for approval and validation. They might say things like, "You never know what you're doing," or "That was a stupid idea," implying that your judgment is flawed and that they are the superior decision maker. By doing so, they reinforce their belief in their own superiority while making you question your own judgment and capabilities. Criticism from a narcissist can also extend to your emotional state, particularly if you express feelings of hurt, frustration, or vulnerability. Narcissists often struggle with empathy, so they may dismiss or invalidate your emotions, using them as an opportunity to criticize you further. For instance, if you express discomfort or dissatisfaction with their behavior, they may accuse you of being overly sensitive, dramatic, or irrational. They may say things like, "You're just too emotional," or "You're always blowing things out of proportion." This kind of emotional invalidation not only undermines your sense of self-worth, but also discourages you from expressing your feelings or setting boundaries in the future. The more a narcissist criticizes, the more they aim to reinforce their sense of superiority and dominance. By putting you down, they elevate themselves, creating an imbalance in the relationship where they are always in control. They want to ensure that you feel small and insignificant in comparison to them, thus making it difficult for you to challenge their behavior or question their motives. The narcissist's heightened criticism is a strategic move designed to diminish your self-esteem and make you feel powerless. By targeting your vulnerabilities, they aim to weaken your ability to confront them, allowing them to continue their manipulative behavior unchecked. In many cases, the criticism becomes more frequent and intense the more the narcissist feels threatened. Their need for validation and control is so strong that they will go to great lengths to ensure that they remain in a position of power. This escalating criticism can have long-lasting effects on the individual being targeted, leading to self-doubt, feelings of worthlessness, and emotional exhaustion. The narcissist, however, sees this as a necessary means of maintaining their dominance and ensuring that they are the center of attention, always superior and untouchable. The overall impact of heightened criticism is to create a toxic dynamic, where the narcissist is always in control and the other person is constantly on the defensive. By making you feel inferior and undermining your confidence, the narcissist ensures that you are less likely to challenge their behavior or question their actions. The more they criticize, the more they reinforce their sense of superiority, and the harder it becomes for you to assert yourself or stand up to them. This cycle of criticism is part of the narcissist's broader strategy to manipulate and dominate, ensuring that they remain the central figure in the relationship. 4. Gaslighting to distort reality. Gaslighting is a highly manipulative tactic often employed by narcissists to distort the perception of reality and manipulate their target into doubting their own senses, memory, and understanding of events. When a narcissist senses that their mask has been cracked and that their true self has been exposed. They may resort to gaslighting as a way to regain control of the situation and reassert their dominance. The purpose of gaslighting is not just to mislead or deceive, but to create confusion, destabilize the victim's sense of reality, and undermine their confidence in their own judgment. One of the primary methods of gaslighting is to flat out deny actions or events that the narcissist knows occurred, thereby distorting the facts in an attempt to create a false narrative. For example, if you confront a narcissist about something they did or said, they may immediately deny it, even when there is clear evidence that they were responsible. They might say things like, "I never said that," or "that never happened," dismissing your recollection entirely. By doing so, they attempt to manipulate you into questioning your own memory and perception, leaving you uncertain about what is real and what is imagined. Narcissists may also manipulate the details of past events, shifting the narrative to suit their needs or to cover up their own wrongdoings. This can involve selectively recalling certain aspects of a situation while omitting others, thereby altering the context and making it difficult for the victim to piece together the full truth. For instance, they may recount an argument in a way that makes you seem irrational or overly emotional, while they portray themselves as calm and reasonable. The goal here is to confuse you and create a sense of cognitive dissonance, where you are unable to reconcile your own memories of the event with the distorted version being presented to you by the narcissist. In addition to denying actions and distorting facts, narcissists may also invalidate your emotions, further contributing to the gaslighting process. If you express feelings of hurt, frustration, or confusion, the narcissist may dismiss or belittle your emotional responses, making you feel as though you are overreacting or being unreasonable. They may say things like, "You're too sensitive," or "You're imagining things," in an attempt to make you second-guess your own emotional responses. By invalidating your feelings, they not only undermine your sense of self-worth, but also erode your trust in your own emotions, leaving you vulnerable to further manipulation. The effect of gaslighting is both psychological and emotional, as it aims to destabilize the victim and create self-doubt. Over time, if the narcissist successfully manipulates your perception of reality, you may begin to question your own thoughts, memories, and feelings. You might feel as though you are losing touch with what is true and struggle to trust your own instincts. This confusion can lead to a state of chronic uncertainty and anxiety, where you constantly second-guess yourself and rely on the narcissist for validation, unable to trust your own judgment. The power of gaslighting lies in its ability to make you doubt your own sense of reality, leaving you disoriented and unsure of what is real. Narcissists are skilled at planting seeds of doubt, making subtle shifts in the narrative that leave you questioning whether your perceptions are correct. This creates a dependency on the narcissist, who now has the power to shape the reality that you experience. As you become increasingly uncertain of the truth, you may find yourself relying on the narcissist for clarity and reassurance, which only strengthens their control over you. In essence, gaslighting is a strategic tool used by narcissists to regain control of a situation where their facade has been threatened. By distorting facts, denying their actions, and invalidating your emotions, they manipulate your perception of reality, leaving you vulnerable to further exploitation. The narcissist's ultimate goal is to confuse and destabilize you, making it difficult for you to assert yourself or challenge their behavior. Over time, this tactic can severely damage your self-esteem and make you feel powerless, while the narcissist maintains their dominance and continues to manipulate the narrative to their advantage. 5. Silent treatment and withdrawal. When a narcissist realizes that their mask has been uncovered, instead of responding openly or addressing the issue directly, they may choose to withdraw or employ the silent treatment. This passive-aggressive tactic is a subtle yet powerful method for the narcissist to regain control of the situation and maintain emotional dominance. By going silent, they aim to make you feel isolated, uncertain, and emotionally abandoned, effectively forcing you into a position where you are left craving their attention and approval. This strategic withdrawal allows the narcissist to continue manipulating the dynamics of the relationship without having to engage in an honest or vulnerable conversation. The silent treatment serves as a tool to create emotional distance and destabilize the other person's sense of security. When a narcissist shuts down communication or deliberately ignores you, it can be incredibly confusing and painful. The absence of interaction leaves you uncertain about where you stand, often making you feel as though you've done something wrong, even if you're unsure of what that is. This emotional vacuum can make you question yourself and your behavior, leading to feelings of guilt, anxiety, and confusion. You may find yourself repeatedly trying to figure out what triggered the narcissist's silence, but without any clear answers. You may feel increasingly uncertain about your actions or relationship with them. The narcissist knows that their silence will stir up feelings of desperation or anxiety in you. The withdrawal is a calculated attempt to make you feel emotionally abandoned, creating a power imbalance where you are left to seek their approval or attention. As you become more distressed by their silence, the narcissist is able to maintain control over the situation without directly confronting or addressing the issue. This power dynamic reinforces the narcissist's need to feel superior and in control of the relationship. They may even act as if they are punishing you for challenging their false image, expecting you to work harder to regain their favor. This tactic also forces you into a position of emotional dependence on the narcissist. In your attempts to break the silence or regain their attention, you may find yourself apologizing or attempting to please them, even if you have done nothing wrong. The narcissist's refusal to engage with you, combined with their eventual grudging acknowledgement when they choose to end the silence, reinforces their emotional power. By withholding affection or communication, they continue to assert their dominance, making you feel as though your worth is dependent on their approval. This constant back and forth leaves you in a state of emotional limbo, where you are uncertain of the narcissist's feelings and actions, yet constantly seeking to regain their approval. The emotional abandonment felt during this silent treatment can be particularly damaging because it mimics the feeling of being ignored or rejected. Narcissists are aware that this strategy can evoke a sense of longing and dependence, leading you to constantly seek validation from them. Over time, the more you try to engage or elicit a response, the more they control the situation, feeding off your need for their recognition and approval. The narcissist's withdrawal is not about resolving conflict or addressing issues, but about maintaining a sense of power and superiority in the relationship. In essence, the silent treatment is a manipulative tactic designed to undermine your emotional stability while giving the narcissist complete control over the interaction. By withdrawing emotionally, the narcissist forces you to seek their attention and approval, all the while maintaining their emotional power over you. This behavior reinforces the narcissist's need to manipulate and control, creating a toxic dynamic in which you feel isolated, uncertain, and emotionally dependent. The silence becomes a weapon of control as the narcissist withholds affection or communication to keep you in a position of submission and to maintain dominance over the relationship. 6. Shifting between charms and aggression. When a narcissist becomes aware that their carefully crafted mask has slipped and their true self is being revealed, they often resort to a series of erratic behaviors to regain control of the situation. One of the most common patterns is an alternating cycle between charm and aggression, which is designed to disorient you and maintain their dominant position. Initially, they may attempt to win you back with grandiose gestures, excessive compliments, or promises of change. These actions seem to signal a return to their more charismatic, ideal self, making you feel special, appreciated, and valued once again. For instance, the narcissist may shower you with praise, buying you gifts, or making bold declarations of love or loyalty to convince you that the issue at hand is now resolved. However, this charm offensive is often short-lived. When the narcissist senses that their power is still at risk or that you are starting to see through their manipulations, they may swiftly switch to a more aggressive or critical approach. This transition from charm to aggression is jarring and designed to keep you off balance. The narcissist may become hostile, critical, or dismissive, targeting your vulnerabilities in an attempt to regain control. For example, they might criticize your appearance, belittle your opinions, or make cutting remarks about your behavior. Their shift in demeanor serves as a form of punishment for challenging their facade. But it also reinforces their need to maintain dominance in the relationship. The inconsistency of this back and forth between charm and aggression is a deliberate tactic used by the narcissist to confuse you. This behavior can create a cycle of emotional whiplash where you are left unsure of where you stand with the narcissist. One moment they may be acting loving and attentive, and the next they are cold and critical. This inconsistency can make you doubt your own perception of reality, as the narcissist creates a distorted dynamic in which you are constantly trying to figure out how to act or respond in order to keep the peace. You may find yourself walking on eggshells, trying to avoid triggering their anger, while simultaneously longing for the warmth and affection they once showed. In addition to the confusion it creates, the charm-aggression cycle also serves to manipulate your emotions. When the narcissist is charming, you are reminded of the idealized version of them that you once believed in, and you may feel a sense of relief, hope, or even guilt for doubting them. However, when they turn aggressive or critical, you may feel hurt, rejected, or anxious. This emotional push and pull creates an unhealthy dependency on the narcissist's approval, as you become conditioned to constantly seek their validation. Your emotional state becomes tied to their fluctuating moods and behaviors, and you may start to internalize the belief that you are the problem, or that you need to earn their affection and acceptance. The narcissist's charm-aggression tactic is not only about keeping you in a state of emotional turmoil, but also about maintaining control and reinforcing their sense of superiority. By alternating between offering affection and issuing criticism, they ensure that you are never fully comfortable or secure in the relationship. This unpredictable behavior can leave you feeling powerless, as you never know whether the narcissist will be loving or hostile. It also makes it difficult to confront them or hold them accountable for their actions, as any challenge to their authority can trigger a rapid escalation of aggression. In the end, this erratic behavior is a way for the narcissist to retain the upper hand in the relationship, preventing you from gaining clarity or understanding of their true intentions. By keeping you confused and emotionally off balance, they ensure that you are more likely to tolerate their mistreatment and continue to seek their approval. The alternating charm and aggression are strategic tools that reinforce the narcissist's control, making it hard for you to break free from the emotional manipulation or assert your own needs and boundaries. 7. Projection of their own faults. When a narcissist realizes that their true nature is being uncovered, they often resort to a tactic known as projection, where they shift their own faults and negative behaviors onto you. This is particularly common when the narcissist has been deceitful, manipulative, or dishonest in the relationship, and they fear that their actions are being exposed. Instead of taking responsibility for their behavior, they deflect attention away from their own shortcomings by accusing you of the very things they have been doing. For instance, if they have been lying or being manipulative, they may accuse you of dishonesty or trying to manipulate the situation. If they have been selfish or neglectful, they might point fingers at you, claiming you are the one who is self-centered or inattentive. This projection is a defensive mechanism used to protect the narcissist's fragile ego. They cannot bear to be confronted with their own flaws, so instead, they project those flaws onto you in an attempt to undermine your credibility and turn the focus onto your supposed faults. The narcissist knows that by accusing you of the very behaviors they've been engaging in, they can create confusion and doubt. This tactic forces you to defend yourself against false accusations, which distracts you from addressing their true behavior. Rather than acknowledging their deceit or manipulation, they force you to spend energy justifying yourself and your actions. The narcissist's projection also serves to keep you off balance emotionally. It can be incredibly frustrating and destabilizing to be accused of things you haven't done, especially when you know the truth. These false accusations can make you second-guess yourself, causing you to doubt your perceptions or even feel guilty for behaviors that are not your own. The more the narcissist projects their faults onto you, the more difficult it becomes to confront them about their actions, because any attempt to do so is met with counter-accusations and manipulation. You may find yourself constantly defending your character, trying to prove your innocence, all the while feeling as if the narcissist's narrative is gaining ground. For example, if you've noticed that the narcissist has been lying or concealing the truth, and you try to call them out, they may turn the tables by accusing you of being the one who lies. They may claim that you are paranoid or imagining things, thereby making it harder for you to confront them. This projection creates a smokescreen that obscures their behavior and shifts the focus onto you, making it more challenging to hold them accountable for their actions. It's a classic manipulation tactic that works because it plays on your emotions, making you feel defensive, confused, or even guilty for situations you had no part in. The narcissist's goal is not only to deflect blame, but also to keep you in a constant state of self-doubt. By consistently accusing you of the same behaviors they are guilty of, they aim to destabilize your sense of reality. This manipulation leads you to question your actions and your intentions, making it more difficult for you to stand up for yourself or set boundaries. The narcissist may even go so far as to create a false narrative where they portray themselves as the victim, further drawing attention away from their own misdeeds and portraying you as the villain. In essence, projecting their faults onto you is a way for the narcissist to avoid facing the consequences of their behavior. It allows them to maintain control over the narrative, shifting blame onto you and making it harder for you to confront their actions. The more they project, the more they manipulate the situation to their advantage, ensuring that you remain focused on defending yourself rather than holding them accountable. This tactic not only keeps the narcissist in a position of power, but it also creates a toxic dynamic where your own behavior and character are constantly called into question, making it much harder to break free from their control. 8. Exaggeration of their victimhood. Narcissists are skilled at presenting themselves as victims, particularly when they sense that their facade is starting to crack. This tactic is not just an expression of genuine hurt, but a deliberate manipulation strategy to garner sympathy and avoid taking responsibility for their actions. When a narcissist realizes that their true self is being uncovered, whether it's their deceit, manipulation, or other problematic behaviors, they may begin to portray themselves as the victim in the situation, exaggerating their suffering or claiming mistreatment. The goal is to shift the focus away from their own flaws and place the blame squarely on others, making them appear as the martyr rather than the perpetrator. For instance, if you've confronted the narcissist about their harmful behavior, they may turn the tables by claiming that you are the one who has wronged them. They might insist that they've been treated unfairly, that they are the one who is suffering, and that you are the cause of their pain. They could exaggerate their emotional distress, describing themselves as helpless or victimized, which creates a false narrative where they are seen as the person who has been unjustly attacked or hurt. The more they embellish their victimhood, the more they attempt to manipulate others into feeling sorry for them and distancing themselves from you. This exaggerated portrayal of victimization is meant to gain the sympathy of others, making them more likely to side with the narcissist and view them as the wronged party. By adopting the role of a victim, the narcissist effectively redirects attention away from their own behavior and actions. Instead of focusing on their manipulative tactics, lies, or emotional abuse, the conversation shifts to their alleged suffering. This allows them to avoid accountability and ensures that any confrontation about their misdeeds is quickly dismissed or invalidated. They may claim that their actions were the result of external forces, such as you mistreating them or causing their emotional distress. They may even go as far as to fabricate situations or distort facts, reinforcing the idea that they are the one who has been wronged, rather than acknowledging their own harmful behavior. The narcissist's victim role also serves as a tool for manipulation in relationships. When they portray themselves as a martyr, they elicit sympathy from others and may even make you feel guilty for confronting them or holding them accountable. This manipulation can make you second-guess your own actions, as you may begin to question whether you are indeed mistreating them or whether their pain is justified. It puts you in a position where you are forced to defend yourself against false accusations rather than addressing the real issues at hand. The more you try to assert that they are in the wrong, the more they will amplify their victim status, making you feel like the bad person in the situation. Moreover, this tactic can isolate you from others, as the narcissist may seek to rally support from friends, family, or co-workers by portraying themselves as the victim. They might tell their side of the story in such a way that others sympathize with them, believing that they have been mistreated or taken advantage of. This creates a divide where the narcissist appears blameless and innocent, while you are left to face the repercussions of challenging them. The narcissist may also exploit this victim image to manipulate others into defending them, offering them excuses for their behavior, or even enabling their toxic patterns. This victimhood strategy also plays into the narcissist's need for external validation. By positioning themselves as the victim, they seek to elicit emotional support, praise, or admiration from others, reinforcing their sense of entitlement and superiority. It allows them to avoid introspection or accountability as they focus on receiving validation rather than addressing their behavior or the damage they have caused. They are able to maintain their image of perfection and invulnerability by ensuring that others view them as deserving of sympathy, rather than questioning their actions. In the end, the narcissist's use of victimhood is a powerful manipulation tactic that helps them maintain control in relationships and deflect accountability. It allows them to escape the consequences of their behavior, paint themselves as a martyr, and garner sympathy and support from others. By manipulating the perception of themselves as a victim, they effectively keep the focus on their fabricated suffering, while avoiding any real scrutiny of their actions. This tactic creates a distorted reality in which the narcissist remains untouchable, and you are left trying to defend yourself against false accusations and emotional manipulation. 9. Overemphasis on their achievements. To divert attention from the cracks in their facade and distract from the exposure of their true nature, narcissists often resort to excessive boasting about their accomplishments, skills, or perceived superiority. This behavior is driven by a deep need to maintain the image of perfection and greatness that they've carefully cultivated. When a narcissist realizes that their mask is slipping, and they sense that others are beginning to see through their manipulative or deceitful behaviors, they may shift into overdrive, loudly touting their achievements in an attempt to reassert control over the narrative. By talking excessively about their talents, successes, or influence, they aim to overshadow any negative perceptions and reaffirm their supposed superiority. For example, if you've confronted a narcissist about their dishonest behavior or manipulative tactics, they may immediately shift the conversation to highlight their past accomplishments, often exaggerating them in the process. They may boast about their career, academic achievements, personal relationships, or any other area where they feel they can impress others. In doing so, they try to redirect the focus from their faults to a glorified image of themselves. This is not about genuine pride in their accomplishments. Rather, it's a calculated move to regain admiration and ensure that others see them in the way they want to be seen, as superior, successful, and worthy of admiration. This boastful behavior is also a tactic used to manipulate others into reaffirming their sense of importance. By emphasizing their own greatness, the narcissist is hoping to evoke praise and admiration from those around them. The more they boast, the more they expect others to validate their sense of superiority. If they succeed, they feel re-empowered, as the praise they receive reaffirms the narrative they've been creating about themselves. This constant need for admiration is not just about external validation, it's about protecting their fragile sense of self-worth. The narcissist's ego depends on this validation, and when it is threatened by exposure or criticism, they resort to boasting to repair the damage. The narcissist's boasting also serves to obscure any underlying issues, behaviors, or character flaws. When they excessively highlight their achievements, it creates a smokescreen that distracts people from the negative aspects of their personality. People are more likely to focus on the grandiose image they project, and less likely to question their motives or the authenticity of their actions. For instance, if a narcissist has been manipulative in a relationship, they may boast about their career success, hoping that the admiration they receive in one area will prevent others from scrutinizing their behavior in another. This allows them to maintain their public image as a perfect and flawless individual, even if their true behavior tells a different story. Moreover, this tactic of boasting is often used to compete with others and maintain a sense of dominance. Narcissists cannot tolerate the idea that someone else might be receiving attention, praise, or admiration, so they will often step in and monopolize the conversation with their own self-aggrandizing narratives. This keeps the focus on them and keeps others from seeing the real issues at hand. The more they can direct the spotlight onto their own achievements, the more they believe they can maintain their position of power and control. Even if their accomplishments are not as impressive as they claim, the sheer volume of their boasting can make it difficult for others to question their validity. Boasting can also act as a form of gaslighting. By exaggerating their talents or success, the narcissist may manipulate others into doubting their own perceptions. If you know the narcissist's claims are exaggerated or false, but everyone around you is caught up in their grand narrative, you may begin to feel isolated or uncertain. The narcissist's boasting creates an atmosphere where their version of reality is so overwhelming that it suppresses any attempts to call them out for their behavior. The more they boast, the more their false image is solidified in the minds of others, making it even harder for you to confront them without being dismissed as jealous, insecure, or irrational. Ultimately, the narcissist's excessive boasting is a strategic tactic designed to distract, manipulate, and maintain their inflated sense of self-worth. It serves to reinforce their self-image as exceptional and untouchable, diverting attention away from their vulnerabilities, flaws, or manipulative actions. By showcasing their talents or accomplishments, they not only attempt to regain admiration, but also shield themselves from the consequences of their behavior. This manipulation tactic ensures that the narcissist remains the center of attention, regardless of the harm they may have caused or the truth that lies beneath their mask. 10. Exploitation of your emotions. Narcissists are highly skilled at manipulating the emotions of those around them in order to maintain control and keep the focus on themselves. One of their most effective strategies is to exploit the feelings of others, especially when they sense that their true nature is being exposed. If they realize that you're starting to see through their facade, or are no longer giving them the validation they crave, they may turn to your emotions, such as guilt, empathy, or sympathy, to regain control over the situation. Narcissists understand that emotional manipulation is a powerful tool that can be used to elicit the responses they want, whether that be compliance, attention, or admiration. For instance, if you've confronted a narcissist about their behavior, they may respond by invoking guilt, making you feel as though you've wronged them, even though their actions were the real cause of the tension. They might say things like, "I can't believe you would treat me this way after all I've done for you," or "You're making me feel like I'm the bad person here." By putting the onus on you, they reverse the roles of victim and perpetrator, making you feel responsible for their hurt feelings. This tactic forces you to question your own actions and motives, making it harder for you to maintain your stance and more likely that you'll begin to apologize or backtrack even if you're the one who has been wronged. The narcissist may also play on your empathy, exploiting your compassionate nature to manipulate you into retracting your boundaries or compromising your needs. If they know you care deeply about their well-being or have a natural inclination to help others, they may feign emotional distress, presenting themselves as fragile or vulnerable. They might tell you about a past trauma or exaggerate a current hardship to elicit your sympathy and make you feel obligated to support them. This emotional appeal is designed to weaken your resolve pull at your heartstrings and push you back into the toxic dynamic where they are the center of attention, and you are left trying to please them. In addition to guilt and empathy, narcissists are also adept at manipulating your insecurities or fears. If they sense that you have a particular vulnerability, they may exploit it to further control you. For example, if you've expressed fear of abandonment or rejection in the past, the narcissist may subtly remind you of those fears, threatening to leave you or implying that your relationship is at risk. By triggering your insecurities, they push you into a defensive position, making it harder for you to stay firm in your boundaries. This emotional manipulation is not only about keeping you under control, but also about ensuring that you continue to seek their validation, even at the expense of your own emotional well-being. Narcissists may also bring up shared memories, especially those in which they were the hero or the one who supported you, in an attempt to make you feel indebted to them. They might remind you of the times when they helped you through a difficult situation or did something special for you, trying to make you feel like you owe them something in return. These memories are often exaggerated or reframed in a way that makes it seem like they have been nothing but giving, while conveniently glossing over any harm they may have caused. By evoking these memories, they create a sense of indebtedness that can make you feel guilty for not giving them the attention, admiration, or support they believe they deserve. The goal of these emotional manipulations is to keep you tied to the narcissist's needs and desires. Even when you're aware that their behavior is unhealthy or damaging, they want you to question your own feelings, doubt your perceptions, and ultimately return to the cycle of validation-seeking behavior. When you allow yourself to be manipulated by guilt, empathy, or insecurity, you reinforce their sense of control and power over you. This keeps the narcissist's ego intact and ensures that they continue to get the emotional supply they crave without having to acknowledge or change their toxic behavior. In some cases, narcissists may also use emotional manipulation as a way to test your loyalty. They may fabricate stories or escalate situations to see how far they can push you before you stand up for yourself. If they feel that you are becoming less compliant or are no longer giving them the validation they desire, they may increase the intensity of their emotional manipulation by making you feel like you are the one causing problems or that they are the true victim. They force you into a position where you feel compelled to reassure them, apologize, or give them more attention. Ultimately, the narcissist's ability to exploit your emotions is a key part of their strategy for maintaining control in the relationship. By playing on your guilt, empathy, or insecurities, they create an emotional landscape where you are constantly second-guessing yourself, questioning your motives, and giving in to their demands. This keeps the focus on their needs and desires, while leaving you emotionally drained, uncertain, and vulnerable. Through these manipulative tactics, they keep the upper hand and continue to feed their fragile ego, ensuring that you remain tied to them in an unhealthy and imbalanced dynamic. 11. Use of third parties to manipulate perceptions. When narcissists realize that their usual tactics of direct manipulation no longer have the desired effect, they may escalate their efforts by enlisting others to help them maintain their illusion of control. This tactic is often employed when they perceive that their ability to directly influence or manipulate you is being undermined. Faced with this loss of power, narcissists often seek out external support to maintain their facade and prevent the truth about their behavior from being exposed. The most common way they achieve this is by spreading rumors or distorting your reputation in a way that makes you seem unreasonable, untrustworthy, or even hostile. A narcissist may begin by subtly planting seeds of doubt in the minds of people around you, particularly those who are close to you or in positions of influence. They might tell others exaggerated or fabricated stories about your behavior, framing you in a negative light to make you appear emotionally unstable or difficult to deal with. For example, if you have confronted the narcissist about their behavior, they may twist the conversation and tell others that you are overly sensitive, making false accusations, or that you have been hostile or uncooperative. These distortions are designed to paint you as the problem in the relationship or the one who is causing conflict. while the narcissist positions themselves as the victim or the misunderstood party. The narcissist might also use more subtle forms of manipulation, such as pretending to be concerned about your well-being while secretly sowing discord behind your back. They may tell mutual friends or family members that they are worried about your mental state, making it seem like you are the one who is irrational or unhinged. This tactic can be especially damaging because it involves portraying themselves as caring and selfless while covertly undermining your reputation. They may even reach out to people you trust, using charm and feigned sympathy to gain their support and turn them against you without you even realizing what is happening. In some cases, narcissists may manipulate others by exaggerating their own version of events. They may create false narratives in which they are always the victim or the martyr, while you are painted as the aggressor or the one at fault. This reframing of reality is done with the intent to convince others to align with their side and to isolate you from your support system. For instance, if there is a conflict or misunderstanding, the narcissist may spread rumors that you were the one who started the argument or acted aggressively, making it difficult for others to trust or believe you. This indirect manipulation serves several purposes. First, it allows the narcissist to reinforce their narrative, making it harder for you to expose the truth or defend yourself. If they can control how others perceive you, they can continue to manipulate the situation from the shadows without having to directly engage with you. By turning people against you, they create a situation where you feel isolated, as if you have no one to turn to for support. This isolation makes you more vulnerable to their continued manipulation and control. Second, by using others to do their dirty work, narcissists can avoid taking direct responsibility for their actions. They don't have to confront you openly or acknowledge their faults. Instead, they use others as pawns to do the work for them. This gives them a sense of distance and safety as they remain in the background, while others unknowingly carry out their wishes. The narcissist can then play the role of the innocent party, deflecting any blame onto you while still reaping the rewards of having others in their corner. Lastly, this form of indirect manipulation helps the narcissist maintain their illusion of superiority and control. By having others support their version of events, they reaffirm their belief in their own self-importance and their ability to influence those around them. They may also use the rumors and distortions as leverage, continuing to manipulate you by making you feel like you're being judged or misunderstood by others. This reinforces their sense of dominance and keeps you in a position where you feel powerless and unable to stand up for yourself. In extreme cases, narcissists may even create elaborate stories, recruit allies, or seek to isolate you from entire social circles. They might organize situations where others are forced to take sides, further dividing relationships and ensuring that they are the one who appears in the best light. They may also use social media or other communication platforms to amplify their message, making it more difficult for you to address or correct the false narratives they have spun. For example, a narcissist might start a rumor in a workplace or social group about how you have been unfair or aggressive in your interactions, leading to colleagues or friends questioning your character. Meanwhile, the narcissist continues to present themselves as a helpful, kind, and misunderstood individual, gaining sympathy from those around you. They may even leverage their friendships or professional connections to manipulate the situation, presenting you as someone who is unreasonable while they play the role of the supportive friend or colleague. This tactic can be particularly harmful because it creates confusion and a sense of helplessness. When you are unaware that the narcissist is influencing others behind the scenes, it can feel like your relationships are deteriorating for no apparent reason. The narcissist's use of others to manipulate your reputation leaves you struggling to defend yourself against a tide of misinformation, making it even harder to expose their true behavior. Ultimately, the goal of the narcissist's efforts to enlist others is to maintain control over the narrative and reinforce their position of power. By manipulating the perceptions of others, they prevent you from fully revealing the truth and keep you in a position where you feel unable to confront them directly. This allows them to maintain their ego-driven need for validation and control, all while keeping their behavior hidden beneath layers of deception and manipulation. 12. Increased vigilance and monitoring of your actions. Finally, when a narcissist realizes that you know the truth about their manipulative behavior, they become hypervigilant, constantly monitoring your actions, words, and body language for any signs that you've begun to break free from their influence. This heightened awareness is a defensive mechanism designed to regain control as they feel the power slipping away and recognize that their mask has been shattered. Narcissists are deeply invested in maintaining their authority over others, and when they sense that you no longer adhere to their narrative or allow them to manipulate you, they will often respond by scrutinizing you more closely than ever before. The vigilance of a narcissist manifests in various ways. They may become overly focused on your every move, trying to interpret your words and actions through a lens of suspicion and self-interest. For example, if you begin to set boundaries or challenge them, the narcissist might pay particular attention to how you express yourself, analyzing the tone, choice of words, and even your body language. They are looking for any signs that you are becoming more independent or that you might be regaining control over your own life. If you express yourself assertively, stand up for yourself, or show any indication that you are no longer emotionally dependent on them, it could signal to the narcissist that their power is waning. In addition to analyzing your actions, they might also try to interpret your emotions or reactions to certain situations. They may ask probing questions or make seemingly innocent comments designed to gauge how much influence they still have over you. The narcissist will often try to provoke a response, either a sign of fear, guilt, or even love, so they can assess whether you are still susceptible to their manipulation. For instance, if they notice that you seem distant or indifferent to them, they might interpret it as rejection, and they could try to provoke an emotional reaction to test whether their grip on you is loosening. Another way narcissists exercise vigilance is by monitoring your interactions with others. If they see that you are building stronger relationships with people outside of their influence, they may grow increasingly anxious. They might question your friends or family members about what you've been saying, subtly attempting to gather information about how you are portraying them or whether you are confiding in others about their behavior. This can be an attempt to assess whether you are isolating yourself from them or if they are losing their ability to control your social circles. They may also try to insert themselves into your relationships, hoping to reassert their presence and remind others of their perceived importance. In more extreme cases, a narcissist might go as far as spying on you or tracking your activities. This could involve monitoring your social media accounts, watching your conversations, or showing up unexpectedly in places where they believe you will be. Their goal is to keep you under constant observation, making sure that you are not deviating from the role they want you to play in their life. They may even make excuses to be around you more often, or seek opportunities to keep tabs on your behavior in person. By doing so, they hope to prevent you from making any moves that would further weaken their hold over you. Narcissists also engage in this heightened vigilance to protect their fragile egos. They constantly fear being exposed or dethroned, and any sign that their control is slipping triggers a defensive response. This means that they will often scrutinize not only your direct interactions with them, but also any indirect ways they feel you might be regaining power. For example, if you begin to assert your own opinions or make decisions independently, they may view this as a challenge to their authority. Their over-analysis of your actions is meant to anticipate your next move and to prevent you from taking any steps that could threaten their sense of superiority or disrupt their carefully crafted image. This vigilance can also be a strategy to reassert control over the situation. If they detect even the slightest hint that you are distancing yourself emotionally, they may attempt to regain your attention by using tactics like charm, flattery, or subtle threats. The narcissist is constantly probing for any weaknesses or emotional triggers that they can exploit in order to manipulate you back into a position of subjugation. If they sense that you are becoming less reliant on them or questioning their authority, they will work even harder to regain your compliance. In some cases, this overanalysis can lead the narcissist to project their own insecurities or paranoia onto you. They may start accusing you of being secretive or untrustworthy, all while they are secretly the ones monitoring your every move. This projection of their own fears can further destabilize you, as you are forced to defend yourself against baseless accusations while the narcissist maintains their focus on controlling the narrative. Their vigilance is designed to create an environment of tension and uncertainty where you feel constantly watched and evaluated, even in your most private moments. The narcissist's vigilance may also serve as a means of psychological warfare. By staying hyper-aware of your actions, they can create a sense of discomfort or unease, making you feel like you are always being judged. This heightened scrutiny can lead you to second-guess your behavior or worry about making mistakes in front of them, giving the narcissist an opportunity to capitalize on your self-doubt and anxiety. Ultimately, their goal is to reassert dominance and re-establish the power dynamic that benefits them, regardless of the emotional toll it takes on you. In summary, when a narcissist realizes that their control over you is weakening, their vigilance intensifies. They monitor your every move, constantly looking for signs that you have broken free from their influence or that you might be asserting your independence. This overanalysis is driven by their need to regain control and protect their fragile ego. It may lead them to invade your personal space, manipulate your relationships, or create emotional turmoil to reassert their dominance. The narcissist's vigilance is a method of defense and a means of preventing you from fully breaking away from their manipulative grasp. These 12 points highlight the behaviors and strategies narcissists employ when they become aware that their mask has slipped. Recognizing these tactics can help you understand how to protect yourself and maintain emotional autonomy in your interactions with narcissistic individuals. Here are 10 strategies to help keep yourself safe when dealing with narcissists. Set boundaries. Establishing clear and firm boundaries is one of the most crucial strategies for protecting yourself from emotional manipulation by a narcissist. Narcissists are often highly skilled at testing limits to see how much control they can exert over others. They thrive on power and dominance, and by pushing boundaries, they can assess whether they can continue manipulating you. Setting boundaries helps you regain control of the situation and prevents the narcissist from exploiting your vulnerabilities or using your emotions against you. A boundary is essentially a line that defines what behavior you are willing to tolerate and what you will not accept. It is an assertion of your needs, values, and limits, communicated clearly to others. When you set boundaries with a narcissist, you are asserting your right to be treated with respect and dignity. It also serves as a way to protect your emotional, mental, and even physical well-being. However, narcissists often see boundaries as a challenge to their authority or as a way to control you, so they may try to push back, ignore, or manipulate your boundaries. This is why it's essential to be clear, direct, and consistent when establishing them. For example, if a narcissist frequently interrupts you or dismisses your opinions, a firm boundary would be to say something like, "I will not tolerate being interrupted when I'm speaking. Please let me finish my thought before you respond." This sets a clear limit on what is acceptable in the conversation and communicates that you will not engage in behavior that undermines your feelings of respect and dignity. Similarly, if a narcissist regularly invades your personal space or demands too much of your time, a boundary could involve limiting how much time you spend with them or how much personal information you share. You might say, "I need time for myself and will not be available for constant requests." Establishing these kinds of boundaries communicates that you value your time, energy, and emotional space. Enforcing these boundaries consistently is key to making them effective. A narcissist may test your boundaries, sometimes in subtle ways, to see if you will back down or allow them to manipulate you into tolerating behaviors that are harmful or uncomfortable. It's important to stay firm in your resolve and not waver in your commitment to your boundaries, even when the narcissist tries to challenge or break them. For example, if you've established a boundary around not answering the phone outside of certain hours and the narcissist repeatedly calls you late at night, it's essential to hold firm by not responding, even if they try to guilt trip or pressure you into answering. Each time you enforce your boundaries, you send a clear message that you will not tolerate their manipulation. While enforcing your boundaries, it is also important to be prepared for the emotional manipulation that may follow. Narcissists often try to guilt trip, shame, or criticize you when you set boundaries because it disrupts their ability to control the situation. They may say things like, "You're being unreasonable," "You're overreacting," or "I've always been there for you. Why can't you do this for me?" This is their attempt to undermine your self-confidence and make you feel guilty for asserting yourself. It is crucial to remember that these responses are not about you. They are about the narcissist's need to maintain control. You must remind yourself that it is perfectly valid to maintain boundaries that protect your emotional well-being. Another common tactic narcissists use is trying to manipulate your sense of guilt. They may try to make you feel as though you are being selfish or uncaring by enforcing boundaries, even though you have every right to do so. They may express anger or disappointment in an attempt to make you feel bad about protecting yourself. It is important not to give in to these guilt tactics. Narcissists often prey on your sense of compassion and empathy to manipulate you into abandoning your boundaries. Stay firm and resist the urge to apologize for maintaining your boundaries, as they are essential for your well-being. Being consistent is crucial because inconsistency will allow the narcissist to slip back into their old manipulative behavior. If you occasionally let things slide or soften your boundaries, the narcissist will quickly pick up on this and exploit the gap you've left open. They may try to convince you that it's not a big deal or that you're being too rigid. However, when you remain consistent, you send the message that you respect yourself enough to hold your ground, regardless of the narcissist's manipulative tactics. It is important to recognize that setting boundaries is not about controlling the narcissist, but about controlling your own behavior and protecting yourself. You are not responsible for how the narcissist reacts to your boundaries. You are only responsible for making sure that you maintain them. Narcissists will often attempt to make you feel responsible for their emotions or behavior, but this is part of their manipulation strategy. By consistently enforcing boundaries, you regain control over your own emotional state and create a healthier, more stable environment for yourself. Additionally, setting boundaries is an act of self-care. It is an acknowledgement that your needs, feelings, and mental health matter, and that you deserve to be treated with respect. By asserting boundaries, you show yourself that you are worthy of healthy relationships and emotional well-being. It also helps create a sense of personal empowerment. When you know that you are in control of your own space and emotions, it becomes easier to navigate interactions with narcissists without being unduly affected by their tactics. Ultimately, the key to setting and enforcing boundaries is consistency, clarity, and self-respect. The more you practice this, the more you will strengthen your ability to protect yourself from emotional manipulation and control. It is also important to recognize that maintaining boundaries is not a one-time effort, but an ongoing process. You may need to reset or adjust boundaries as your circumstances change, and that's perfectly okay, as long as you stay consistent. In protecting your emotional well-being, you will continue to regain and maintain the power over your own life that a narcissist seeks to strip away. 2. Practice emotional detachment. Narcissists often thrive on eliciting emotional reactions from others, as these reactions feed their sense of control and dominance. When you react emotionally to their provocations, it gives them a sense of power and reinforces their manipulative behavior. To protect your emotional well-being, one of the most effective strategies is to practice emotional detachment. This doesn't mean becoming cold, indifferent, or emotionally unavailable, but rather developing the ability to maintain a level of objectivity and distance in your interactions with the narcissist. By doing so, you can prevent them from using your emotions against you and regain control of the situation. Emotional detachment involves being mindful of how the narcissist's behavior affects you and consciously choosing not to let their actions provoke an emotional response. This may take time and practice, especially if you've been conditioned to react to their manipulations. The goal is to protect your inner peace by recognizing their tactics without getting swept up in their emotional games. By detaching emotionally, you prevent yourself from becoming entangled in their drama or feeling responsible for their emotional state. It helps you maintain clarity and perspective so you can respond thoughtfully rather than react impulsively. For example, if a narcissist tries to provoke you by making hurtful comments or accusations, instead of getting defensive or upset, you can practice detachment by calmly acknowledging their words without emotionally engaging. A response like, "I hear what you're saying, but I don't agree with it," can show that you're not taking their words personally and that you're not allowing their manipulative tactics to trigger a response. In this way, you disarm the narcissist's attempt to provoke you and maintain control over your own emotions. It's important to note that emotional detachment doesn't mean suppressing or denying your feelings. It's about being aware of your emotional responses and making a conscious choice not to let them take over. The narcissist may try to trigger a variety of emotions such as guilt, shame, anger, or insecurity, as these emotions serve to make you more malleable to their demands. By practicing emotional detachment, you learn to observe your emotions without becoming overwhelmed by them, thus preventing the narcissist from using them as a tool of manipulation. Another key aspect of emotional detachment is recognizing that the narcissist's behavior is not about you. It's about their need for control and validation. When you understand that their actions are driven by their insecurities and desire for dominance, it becomes easier to detach emotionally. For example, when they criticize or belittle you, it is not a reflection of your worth, but rather a reflection of their own need to maintain a sense of superiority. When you internalize this understanding, it becomes easier to detach emotionally and not take their words personally. Additionally, it's important to maintain a sense of boundaries when practicing emotional detachment. A narcissist may try to exploit your emotions to break down your defenses or to make you feel responsible for their emotional well-being. By establishing emotional boundaries, you can protect yourself from becoming enmeshed in their emotional chaos. For instance, if a narcissist is trying to provoke you into a heated argument, you can choose to disengage or walk away from the conversation instead of participating in the emotional turmoil. This is a form of emotional self-care that keeps you from getting caught up in their toxic cycle. Another element of emotional detachment is recognizing the narcissist's need to manipulate your emotions. They might use guilt, flattery, anger, or even sadness to draw you into their emotional web. By remaining detached, you become less susceptible to these emotional ploys and more focused on maintaining your own sense of peace. You can acknowledge the narcissist's behavior without allowing it to affect your emotional state. For example, if they guilt trip you or accuse you of not caring about them, instead of internalizing their feelings or apologizing unnecessarily, you can calmly say something like, "I understand that you're upset, but I don't agree with your perspective." This statement shows that you are not taking on their emotional burden, and you are not allowing them to manipulate your emotions. In addition to detaching emotionally in real-time interactions, it's also essential to reflect on your own emotional triggers and work through them. Emotional detachment involves self-awareness, recognizing how certain behaviors or words from the narcissist may trigger past wounds or insecurities. By becoming aware of these triggers, you can practice reframing your thoughts and creating emotional distance before reacting. This helps you respond in a more mindful way rather than reacting impulsively or emotionally. It also helps you to stop the narcissist from taking advantage of your vulnerabilities. It's also vital to recognize that emotional detachment doesn't mean completely cutting off your emotions or becoming a robot. It's about protecting your emotional health by not allowing someone else's manipulation to control how you feel. Emotional detachment allows you to stay grounded and focused on your well-being while still maintaining your empathy and compassion for others, but on your own terms. One of the most powerful aspects of emotional detachment is that it empowers you to take control of your own emotional landscape. When you stop reacting to the narcissist's provocations, you stop feeding into their need for power and validation. you also stop feeling responsible for their emotional state or behavior. By practicing emotional detachment, you regain your sense of autonomy, self-respect, and inner peace, making it easier to break free from their manipulative grip. In summary, practicing emotional detachment with a narcissist is a vital strategy for protecting yourself from emotional manipulation. It involves maintaining a level of objectivity and distance, choosing not to engage in their emotional games, and reframing your perspective so that their behavior does not affect your emotional well-being. Emotional detachment helps you preserve your sense of control, self-worth, and peace of mind, while preventing the narcissist from using your emotions as a tool to manipulate or dominate you. 3. Limit. Personal disclosure. Narcissists are often skilled at exploiting personal information for their own benefit. Once they gain access to your vulnerabilities or intimate details about your life, they may use that information against you, manipulating it to create emotional leverage or to control you. Whether it's using your past mistakes, insecurities, or private struggles as ammunition, narcissists are adept at twisting these details to suit their agenda. To protect yourself from this type of emotional manipulation, it is crucial to limit what you disclose to them. By doing so, you reduce the risk of them using your personal information as a tool for exploitation. One of the most effective ways to safeguard your emotional well-being is to practice discretion in your conversations. With narcissists, this means being selective about the topics you discuss and carefully considering the information you share. If you know that a particular detail about your life could be used against you, avoid bringing it up in conversation. Narcissists thrive on the vulnerability of others, and the more they know about you, the more they have to manipulate. For example, if you've shared with a narcissist that you're dealing with personal challenges or insecurities, they may later bring these up in a way that makes you feel guilty, ashamed, or pressured to comply with their demands. Keeping certain aspects of your life private makes it much harder for them to find material to exploit. It's also important to recognize that narcissists are often masters of emotional manipulation. They might pretend to show empathy or concern when you share personal information, giving you the impression that they are trustworthy and have your best interests at heart. However, this is often a tactic to make you feel comfortable and open, so they can gather details that will later be used to control or manipulate you. For example, a narcissist may ask probing questions about your relationships, childhood experiences, or past traumas, seemingly to connect with you. But in reality, they're collecting information they can use to undermine your self-esteem or make you feel dependent on them. If you find yourself opening up to a narcissist, be aware of the potential consequences. They may twist what you've shared in ways that make you doubt yourself, accuse you of being too emotional, or even use your vulnerabilities as a way to diminish you. Once you realize this pattern, it becomes important to set boundaries around what you're willing to disclose. For instance, you might decide to avoid discussing certain topics, or even steer the conversation toward neutral subjects such as general news, hobbies, or shared interests that do not provide the narcissist with personal insights. Limiting personal disclosure doesn't mean being cold or distant, but rather being mindful of the information you share and how it might be used later. Narcissists often thrive on using personal vulnerabilities to create feelings of guilt, shame, or insecurity in their targets. By maintaining control over your own narrative and only sharing what is absolutely necessary, you reduce the narcissist's ability to manipulate you through your emotions. A practical example of limiting personal disclosure is to carefully evaluate the conversations you have with the narcissist. If they start asking questions that feel invasive or too personal, you can politely redirect the conversation. For instance, if a narcissist starts probing into your relationships or your past struggles, you can steer the conversation by saying something like, "I prefer not to discuss that right now," or "That's a personal matter, and I'd rather not get into it." This sets a boundary without causing unnecessary conflict, while maintaining control over what information is shared. Another effective strategy is to keep conversations focused on neutral or external topics that don't reveal anything personal or vulnerable. You can discuss common interests, books, movies, or even everyday events that don't offer the narcissist an opportunity to pry into your private life. By doing so, you keep the conversation light and unthreatening, reducing the risk of the narcissist gathering personal details to exploit. Sometimes, narcissists may attempt to guilt trip or pressure you into sharing personal information. They may claim that they won't be able to understand or help you unless you open up to them, or they may accuse you of not trusting them. It's important to remember that these tactics are often just ways for them to gain access to sensitive information. You have every right to protect your privacy and to set clear boundaries about what you're willing to share. If you feel uncomfortable or pressured, it's okay to stand firm and say, "I'm not comfortable discussing that," or "I prefer to keep that to myself." By limiting personal disclosure, you take control over the narrative of your life and reduce the risk of being manipulated. Narcissists are constantly seeking ways to control and influence others, and personal information is one of their most powerful tools. The more you control what they know about you, the less power they have to manipulate your emotions or decisions. In the long run, this practice can help you maintain a sense of autonomy and protect your emotional well-being from the narcissist's toxic influence. In addition, limiting personal disclosure can help you preserve your sense of self. Narcissists often try to mold others to fit their own narrative, and if you reveal too much of yourself, they may use that information to distort your identity or push you into a role that suits them. By maintaining boundaries around your personal life, you ensure that you remain in control of your own story and don't let the narcissist define you based on your vulnerabilities. Ultimately, limiting personal disclosure is about protecting yourself from being used and manipulated by a narcissist. It's a strategy that helps you maintain your autonomy, preserve your emotional well-being, and prevent the narcissist from gaining control over you through your personal information. By being mindful of what you share and with whom, you reduce the risk of emotional exploitation and take a strong stand in preserving your boundaries. 4. Trust your instincts. Narcissists are often experts at manipulating others through tactics like gaslighting, where they distort reality to make you question your perceptions and experiences. This manipulation can leave you feeling confused, unsure, and even doubting your own judgment. However, it is crucial to trust your instincts and intuition in these situations. Your gut feelings are often an accurate reflection of what's really happening, even when the narcissist is attempting to make you believe otherwise. If something feels off, or you sense that you're being manipulated, it's important not to ignore those feelings. They are your inner radar telling you that something isn't right. One of the key strategies narcissists use is to undermine your confidence in your own perception of reality. By denying events, distorting facts, or twisting your words, they aim to make you doubt yourself. This can lead to feelings of confusion and self-doubt, making it harder for you to trust your own judgment. However, by consciously choosing to trust your instincts, you can counteract this manipulation. When you feel uneasy or suspect that you're being controlled or gaslit, that discomfort is often a sign that something is wrong. In these moments, it's important to acknowledge that your feelings and instincts matter. Trusting your instincts means acknowledging your gut feelings about a situation, even if the narcissist tries to make you feel like you're overreacting or imagining things. For example, if a narcissist frequently dismisses your concerns or tries to convince you that you're being overly sensitive, your instinct might be telling you that something deeper is at play. In these cases, it's vital to stand firm in your perception of reality. Don't allow their manipulation to make you second-guess yourself. If you feel uncomfortable or that something is being hidden from you, it's essential to take those feelings seriously. Trusting your instincts can also help you maintain a sense of clarity in situations where the narcissist is trying to confuse or overwhelm you. Narcissists often create chaotic environments where they constantly shift blame, deny responsibility, or change the narrative. This can make it difficult to make sense of what's really happening. By staying connected to your gut feelings, you can keep a clearer view of the situation and resist getting swept up in their manipulation. For example, If a narcissist tells you that something didn't happen the way you remember it, but your instincts tell you otherwise, trust yourself. Don't let them convince you that your memory is faulty or that you are exaggerating. Narcissists may try to rewrite history or distort events to suit their agenda, but your instincts can help you stay grounded in the truth. If you feel that your boundaries are being violated or that the narcissist is trying to manipulate you emotionally, trust that feeling and take steps to protect yourself. It's also important to recognize that narcissists often rely on creating confusion to keep you off balance. They may twist your words, deny previous conversations, or even change their behavior unpredictably. In these moments, trusting your instincts will help you cut through the confusion and see the situation for what it really is. If something feels manipulative or inconsistent with past behavior, your intuition can alert you to the narcissist's tactics. When you trust your instincts, you are more likely to notice red flags that you might have missed before. Narcissists can be charming and convincing, but they are also skilled at hiding their true intentions. Trusting your gut helps you recognize when their actions are inconsistent with their words, or when they are trying to create a false narrative to manipulate you. It's your inner voice telling you that something isn't aligning with your values or understanding of the situation. Additionally, trusting your instincts helps you maintain emotional clarity. Narcissists can often make you feel emotionally unstable by pushing and pulling you in different directions. They may shower you with praise one moment and then criticize you the next, leaving you emotionally confused. When you trust your instincts, you are better equipped to detach from their emotional games and stay grounded in your own emotional reality. You'll be able to separate their manipulative tactics from your true feelings, which allows you to respond more thoughtfully and assertively. In situations where you feel overwhelmed or unsure, it can be helpful to take a step back and reassess. This doesn't mean second-guessing yourself or abandoning your feelings, but rather giving yourself the space to reflect without the narcissist's influence clouding your judgment. Sometimes, stepping away from the situation temporarily allows you to gain perspective and listen more closely to your instincts. Trusting your instincts is a powerful tool in maintaining your mental and emotional clarity when dealing with a narcissist. When you have the confidence to listen to your inner voice and stand firm in your perception of reality, you are better able to protect yourself from their manipulation. Even when a narcissist tries to make you doubt your own judgment, trusting your instincts will help you stay grounded in truth and navigate through their deceitful tactics with greater resilience. 5. Seek support from trusted individuals. Narcissists often employ isolation as a tactic to exert greater control over their victims. By cutting off or undermining your relationships with others, they can increase their influence and manipulate your thoughts and behaviors more easily. They may subtly alienate you from friends and family, either by sowing seeds of doubt about those relationships or by creating conflict that drives you away from your support network. In these situations, it's crucial to maintain a solid support system of trusted individuals who can offer emotional support and a reality check when dealing with the narcissist. Having a network of people who genuinely care about you provides a sense of stability and assurance. They can validate your experiences and offer perspectives that counter the narcissist's attempts to distort reality. Narcissists frequently use tactics like gaslighting to make you question your perceptions or memories, leading to confusion and self-doubt. However, when you have trusted friends, family members, or professionals to confide in, you can find reassurance that your feelings and experiences are legitimate. These individuals can help you regain clarity and offer emotional support when you're feeling overwhelmed by the narcissist's manipulation. For example, a narcissist might insist that you're imagining things or exaggerating their behavior, when in fact they're the ones at fault. If you confide in someone you trust, such as a close friend or therapist, they can help you recognize when the narcissist is distorting the truth. They can remind you of your own worth and help you stay grounded in reality so the narcissist's manipulation doesn't have as strong an effect. This external validation is key to combating the isolation tactics that narcissists use. Support systems are also crucial for emotional well-being. Dealing with a narcissist can be emotionally draining, as they often seek to undermine your confidence and control your actions. By maintaining close relationships with people who care about you, you can receive the encouragement you need to keep your sense of self intact. Whether it's a simple chat with a friend, seeking advice from a family member, or consulting a professional, these conversations provide an outlet to process your emotions and reaffirm your boundaries. Moreover, when you're surrounded by people who support you, it becomes harder for the narcissist to manipulate your emotions or sway your opinions. Narcissists often try to create a sense of dependency, making you feel like you can't trust anyone but them. They may even attempt to pit people against each other, creating division and distrust. However, when you have a strong support system, you're less likely to fall into these manipulative traps. You'll be able to see the narcissist's tactics more clearly and resist their attempts to control you. Another advantage of maintaining a support network is that it provides a buffer against the emotional volatility that narcissists often create. Narcissists may engage in cycles of idealization and devaluation, making you feel emotionally confused or unstable. During these cycles, it's important to have people around you who can offer a consistent, supportive presence. They can remind you that the narcissist's behavior is not a reflection of your worth, helping you remain grounded when the narcissist's emotional ups and downs threaten to destabilize you. It's also important to seek professional help if you're finding it difficult to cope with the narcissist's behavior. Therapists or counselors who specialize in narcissistic abuse can provide valuable insight into how narcissists manipulate others and offer strategies for dealing with their behavior. These professionals can teach you how to recognize the signs of manipulation, set healthy boundaries, and protect your mental health. With their help, you can gain the tools you need to navigate interactions with a narcissist more effectively. Building a strong support network isn't just about validating your experiences. It's also about building resilience. The more people you have in your corner, the more confidence you'll have in your ability to stand up to the narcissist. They may try to isolate you by attacking your relationships, but with a group of supportive individuals, you can stay emotionally strong and confident in your decision-making. In summary, narcissists often try to isolate their victims to increase their control and manipulate their reality. To protect yourself, it's crucial to maintain a strong support system of trusted individuals who can offer validation, emotional support, and guidance. Whether it's friends, family, or professionals, these people can help you stay grounded, combat the narcissist's manipulation, and provide the emotional resilience needed to break free from their control. Having a solid support system is one of the most effective ways to shield yourself from the narcissist's tactics and ensure your mental and emotional well-being. 6. Document interactions. Keeping a record of your interactions with a narcissist is an essential strategy to protect yourself from manipulation and emotional abuse. Narcissists are highly skilled at distorting reality, often using gaslighting and other tactics to make you question your perceptions. By documenting conversations, behaviors, and any manipulative tactics they employ, you create a reliable source of truth that can help you stay grounded and maintain clarity in the face of manipulation. For instance, narcissists may make promises they don't keep or make sweeping statements about their feelings or intentions, only to later deny ever making such claims. Documenting these interactions allows you to keep track of inconsistencies in their words and actions, providing a concrete record that can help you recognize patterns of deceit. This record will also allow you to better identify when the narcissist is manipulating you, whether through gaslighting, changing their narrative, or shifting blame. By having written documentation, you can refer to your notes when the narcissist tries to alter the story, giving you confidence and certainty in your perceptions. This documentation can serve as a valuable tool in a variety of situations. If you ever need to confront the narcissist or seek help from a professional, having a detailed account of their behavior and tactics can provide clarity and evidence. In some cases, a therapist or counselor may ask you to track specific interactions to gain a better understanding of the dynamics at play. Having written records will allow you to present a clear picture of what you've been experiencing, helping professionals provide the necessary support and guidance. Moreover, tracking narcissistic behavior can help you identify patterns over time. Narcissists often engage in cycles of idealization and devaluation, where they initially appear charming and perfect, only to later devalue or criticize you. These cycles can be emotionally exhausting and confusing, especially if you're unsure whether the narcissist's behavior is abnormal. By documenting interactions, you can spot these recurring patterns and better understand the narcissist's tactics. Recognizing these patterns will help you stay emotionally prepared and less likely to fall into their traps. For example, if a narcissist repeatedly makes you feel guilty for things that aren't your fault, documenting these instances will help you identify that it's a recurring tactic they use. This realization can empower you to set firmer boundaries and not fall for their guilt tripping. Additionally, documentation allows you to track when and how they escalate manipulative behavior, whether it's through silent treatment, belittling comments, or emotional outbursts. Recognizing these patterns will help you anticipate their moves and remain resilient in the face of their emotional volatility. Another advantage of documenting narcissistic behavior is that it can help you establish clearer boundaries. Narcissists often push limits to see how much control they can exert, and their manipulative tactics can make it difficult to assert yourself. When you have a record of their actions, it becomes easier to establish and reinforce your boundaries, as you can refer back to concrete examples of their behavior when you communicate your limits. This helps ensure that your boundaries are not based solely on your feelings or assumptions, but on documented evidence of their abusive behavior. If you decide to seek professional help, having a record of interactions can be invaluable for both you and the therapist. It provides context for the therapeutic process, allowing the professional to better understand the narcissist's tactics and how they've impacted you. Additionally, in extreme cases, such as if you are considering legal action or need to seek protection from the narcissist, documentation can serve as important evidence in your case. Keeping a record can also help you protect your mental health. Narcissists are experts at making you doubt your own feelings, and without documentation, it's easy to second-guess your experiences. However, when you have a written account, you can see that your feelings are valid and that the narcissist's behavior is indeed harmful. This recognition is crucial for maintaining self-confidence and avoiding self-blame. It's important to note that while documentation is an essential strategy, it's also important to keep it in a safe place where the narcissist cannot access it. They may attempt to invade your privacy or sabotage your efforts to keep a record, so it's important to store your notes securely, either digitally with passwords and encryption, or physically in a locked space. Having this information protected ensures that it remains a valuable resource when you need it. In summary, keeping a record of your interactions with the narcissist is a powerful tool for protecting yourself from manipulation and emotional abuse. It provides clarity, evidence, and a reliable reference point for confronting the narcissist, seeking professional help, or maintaining emotional well-being. By documenting their behavior and tracking patterns of abuse, you gain a clearer understanding of their tactics, making it easier to set boundaries, remain grounded, and protect your mental health. 7. Limit or cut. Contact, limiting or cutting contact with a narcissist is a critical strategy for protecting yourself from further emotional manipulation, control, and harm. Narcissists thrive on maintaining power and influence over others, and their ability to manipulate diminishes significantly when they no longer have direct access to your emotions or actions. If the narcissist's behavior becomes too toxic, manipulative, or harmful, setting a firm boundary of limited or no contact can be a necessary step in reclaiming control over your life and well-being. The first step in limiting contact is to assess the situation and recognize when it becomes unhealthy or unsafe. Narcissists often test boundaries and escalate their behavior, pushing your limits to see how much they can control or manipulate you. If you find that their actions consistently cause emotional distress, confusion, or harm, it may be time to implement stronger boundaries. Cutting contact entirely if possible removes their ability to continuously invade your personal space and emotional world. However, in some cases, such as when you share children or are involved in certain co-parenting arrangements, cutting contact completely may not be realistic. In these instances, it is important to set clear guidelines for communication. Establish a strict, business-like tone for any necessary interactions. Keep conversations focused solely on practical matters, such as schedules, childcare, or financial obligations, and avoid engaging in any emotional exchanges. By reducing emotional involvement, you limit the narcissist's ability to use your feelings against you or manipulate the situation to their advantage. When you interact with a narcissist, they often attempt to draw you into emotional or personal conversations using tactics like guilt, criticism, or flattery to regain control. To avoid this, establish a firm internal stance that you will not respond to their emotional provocations or attempts to pull you into drama. Stay calm and neutral in your responses, always keeping the focus on the necessary practical matters at hand. If they try to provoke an emotional reaction, resist the urge to engage. Responding to their emotional manipulation feeds into their need for attention and control. So, limiting your emotional engagement is a key part of disengaging from their influence. Cutting contact or limiting communication also allows you to reclaim your emotional energy. Narcissists often drain those around them, constantly demanding attention and validation while giving little in return. When you limit or stop interactions, you can regain the time and energy that would have been consumed by their demands. This newfound space allows you to focus on your own well-being, personal growth, and relationships with supportive, healthy individuals. You can begin to heal from the emotional damage caused by the narcissist's manipulation and regain a sense of autonomy over your life. If cutting contact completely is not feasible, consider using other strategies to distance yourself emotionally. For example, you may choose to respond less frequently to their communications or delay responses to avoid falling back into old patterns of dependency. You can also set clear boundaries regarding when and how you will engage with them, such as limiting communication to specific times or circumstances. The key is to reduce their ability to dictate your emotional state and protect your own mental health. Furthermore, limiting contact allows you to distance yourself from the narcissist's toxic energy and behavior, which may negatively affect your mental health and self-esteem. Constant exposure to their manipulative tactics, criticism, and emotional volatility can take a toll, leading to anxiety, depression, or feelings of helplessness. By creating physical or emotional distance, you can begin to rebuild your sense of self-worth and regain emotional clarity. It's also important to consider your support system when implementing this strategy. If you decide to cut or limit contact with a narcissist, having a strong network of friends, family, or a therapist can help you stay grounded and validated. They can provide emotional support during this challenging process, ensuring that you stay committed to your boundaries and don't feel isolated or vulnerable to the narcissist's influence. In some cases, a narcissist may resist your attempts to limit contact and may react with anger, guilt-tripping, or even attempts to manipulate others against you. It's important to be prepared for these reactions and remain firm in your decision. Narcissists may use various tactics to break your boundaries, including playing the victim, threatening you, or trying to win back your favor with false promises. However, by staying consistent in limiting or cutting contact, you reduce their power to manipulate you and take control of your emotional life once again. In conclusion, limiting or cutting contact with a narcissist is a powerful strategy to protect your emotional and psychological well-being. Whether through reducing the frequency of communication, establishing a business-like tone for necessary interactions, or cutting ties completely, creating distance between you and the narcissist allows you to regain control over your life. It helps to minimize their ability to manipulate you and reduces the emotional toll their behavior can have. By implementing clear boundaries and maintaining a firm stance, you can begin the process of emotional healing and regain your sense of autonomy. 8. Maintain a strong sense of self-worth. Narcissists frequently target your self-esteem as a means of asserting control over you and diminishing your sense of self-worth. They thrive on creating self-doubt and insecurity in others, as it makes it easier for them to manipulate and dominate. To protect yourself from this form of emotional abuse, it's essential to focus on strengthening your sense of self-worth and fostering a healthy, resilient self-image. The first step is to consistently remind yourself of your strengths, abilities, and accomplishments. Narcissists may try to convince you that you're not good enough or that your achievements are unimportant, but by actively acknowledging your own value, you can counter these negative narratives. Reflect on past successes, both big and small, and recognize your personal qualities that make you unique and capable. Whether it's your intelligence, kindness, work ethic, or resilience, affirming these positive aspects of yourself can build a strong foundation of confidence. Practicing self-care is another key strategy for maintaining self-worth. Engaging in activities that nurture your mind, body, and soul not only reinforces your self-esteem, but also helps you cope with the stress and emotional strain of dealing with a narcissist. Take time for hobbies, exercise, relaxation, and activities that bring you joy and fulfillment. Make sure to set aside moments for rest and recovery, especially when you're feeling overwhelmed by the narcissist's manipulations. Engaging in self-care routines strengthens your inner resilience and reminds you of your own importance, independent of anyone else's validation. Surrounding yourself with positive affirmations of your worth is another powerful way to protect yourself from the narcissist's attempts to undermine you. This can include surrounding yourself with supportive people who value and appreciate you. Having a network of friends, family, or mentors who reinforce your strengths and offer encouragement helps counteract the narcissist's attempts to isolate and diminish your self-esteem. Additionally, writing down affirmations that reflect your value and abilities can serve as daily reminders of your worth. Affirmations like, "I am enough," "I am worthy of respect," or "My feelings and needs are valid," can strengthen your mental and emotional resilience. Building emotional resilience through these practices makes it significantly harder for the narcissist to successfully manipulate you. A narcissist thrives on your emotional responses, and the more secure you are in your own self-worth, the less power they have to influence your emotional state. When you are confident in who you are and your value, you're less likely to be swayed by their criticisms or gaslighting. You become less vulnerable to their attacks on your self-esteem and more capable of seeing through their manipulative behavior. Furthermore, strengthening your self-worth can help you establish and maintain boundaries with the narcissist. When you feel secure in your sense of self, you are less likely to tolerate disrespect, manipulation, or mistreatment. You can confidently assert your needs and stand firm in your values without feeling guilty or apologetic. This not only protects you from further emotional harm, but also sends a clear message to the narcissist that their tactics will not work on you. It's also important to remember that narcissists may continue to undermine your self-esteem by dismissing your accomplishments or belittling your achievements. They may use tactics like minimizing your success, making comparisons, or pretending to be superior. However, by working on your self-worth, you can learn to dismiss these comments as baseless attempts to control you. By reminding yourself that their criticism is a reflection of their insecurity, not your inadequacy, you can maintain a more balanced perspective and avoid internalizing their toxic remarks. In summary, maintaining a strong sense of self-worth is an essential strategy for protecting yourself from the narcissist's efforts to undermine your confidence and gain control. By actively reinforcing your strengths, practicing self-care, and surrounding yourself with affirmations of your value, you can create a solid foundation of emotional resilience. The more secure you are in yourself, the harder it becomes for the narcissist to manipulate or harm you. Establishing a strong sense of self-worth is an empowering step in taking back control and protecting your emotional well-being. 9. Seek professional help seeking. Professional help is an essential strategy for anyone dealing with the emotional and psychological toll of narcissistic abuse. The manipulation, gaslighting, and emotional turmoil caused by narcissists can leave lasting scars on your mental and emotional well-being. A trained therapist or counselor can provide crucial support to help you heal, regain your sense of self, and develop strategies for coping with ongoing manipulation. Therapy can offer a safe and neutral space for you to express your feelings, process the trauma you've experienced, and gain insights into the dynamics of narcissistic abuse. Narcissists often create an environment of confusion, self-doubt, and emotional instability, making it difficult to understand what is happening in the relationship. A therapist can help you make sense of these complexities by explaining the common tactics narcissists use and how they impact your mental health. This understanding is essential in restoring your sense of clarity and empowering you to make informed decisions about your relationship with the narcissist. A significant part of therapy is rebuilding your sense of self. Narcissistic abuse can erode your self-esteem and make you question your worth. With the support of a therapist, you can work on rediscovering your true identity, separate from the narcissist's influence. A professional can help you reconnect with your values, passions, and goals, which may have been overshadowed by the narcissist's control. Rebuilding your self-esteem and confidence is a gradual process, but a therapist can provide the guidance and encouragement needed to reclaim your sense of identity. Moreover, therapy is an invaluable resource for learning effective coping strategies. Narcissistic abuse often involves emotional manipulation, gaslighting, and unpredictable behavior that can leave you feeling powerless. A counselor can teach you how to respond to these manipulations in a way that protects your emotional well-being. Through therapeutic techniques, you can develop healthier ways of managing stress, setting boundaries, and protecting your mental health. These coping strategies are not only important for surviving narcissistic abuse, but are also essential for thriving in the long term. A therapist can also help you identify patterns of abuse that you may not have been aware of. Narcissistic abuse can be insidious, with the narcissist gradually eroding your sense of reality and self-worth. A professional can help you see these patterns, making it easier for you to recognize and confront the abuse. This awareness is crucial in preventing future manipulation and protecting yourself from further harm. In addition to healing from the past, therapy is a vital tool for helping you establish and maintain healthy boundaries. Narcissists often try to push boundaries to assert control and manipulate their victims. Through therapy, you can learn to set firm, clear boundaries that protect your emotional health. A therapist can help you practice assertiveness techniques, teach you how to enforce your boundaries, and support you as you begin to distance yourself from the narcissist's toxic behavior. Learning how to say no and protect your emotional space is an important step in regaining control over your life. Furthermore, a therapist can guide you in building resilience so that you are better equipped to handle any future interactions with the narcissist. Over time, you will become better at recognizing their manipulative tactics, responding in ways that minimize their impact on your mental health, and ultimately, learning how to detach emotionally from their influence. Finally, professional help is invaluable if you decide to confront the narcissist or make any significant changes to the relationship. A therapist can offer guidance on how to approach the situation with clarity and support, ensuring that you don't fall into old patterns of manipulation. If you decide to cut contact or end the relationship, a counselor can help you navigate this challenging transition and provide emotional support as you move forward. In conclusion, seeking professional help is a critical strategy in coping with narcissistic abuse and healing from its effects. Therapy offers a safe space to process your emotions, rebuild your self-worth, develop coping strategies, and learn how to set healthy boundaries. By working with a therapist or counselor, you can regain control of your life, restore your mental and emotional well-being, and begin the journey of healing from narcissistic abuse. Educate yourself about narcissistic behavior. Educating yourself about narcissistic behavior and manipulation tactics is one of the most empowering strategies to protect yourself from narcissistic abuse. Knowledge truly is power, and when you understand the psychology behind narcissism, it becomes easier to spot red flags early on and avoid falling into the traps they set. Narcissists often use subtle, yet powerful tactics to manipulate and control their victims, and the more you know about these behaviors, the better equipped you are to protect your emotional well-being. Understanding the narcissist's deep need for control, validation, and superiority is essential for anticipating their actions. Narcissists thrive on being admired and placed on a pedestal, so they often manipulate others to maintain their sense of grandeur and importance. When you recognize that their behavior is driven by insecurity and the constant need for admiration, it becomes clearer that their actions are not about you, but about their own fragile self-image. Knowing this allows you to detach emotionally and not take their manipulations personally, which helps you maintain a healthier perspective. When you are aware of narcissistic tactics, such as gaslighting, love bombing, projection, or emotional blackmail, you can more easily recognize these behaviors when they occur. For instance, if a narcissist begins to distort the truth or deny events that you clearly remember, you'll be able to identify gaslighting and protect your sense of reality. Similarly, if they try to use excessive flattery to win you over, you can recognize love bombing as a tactic to manipulate your emotions. The ability to spot these behaviors in real time is crucial for avoiding emotional entanglement and maintaining control over your response. This knowledge also allows you to anticipate how the narcissist will react to certain situations. Narcissists often have predictable patterns of behavior. For example, when they feel threatened or criticized, they may respond with aggression, passive aggression, or withdraw into silence. By understanding these patterns, you can be prepared for their emotional outbursts or manipulative responses, and learn how to handle them without getting caught up in their drama. You can also learn to anticipate when they may try to test your boundaries or provoke you to get a reaction, and by staying calm and composed, you can diffuse their attempts to control the situation. Being educated about narcissism also empowers you to make informed decisions about how to interact with them, if at all. Once you understand the nature of narcissistic behavior, you can decide how much time, energy, or emotional investment you're willing to give to the relationship. Knowledge helps you recognize when it's time to distance yourself, set firm boundaries, or cut contact entirely. By acting from a place of awareness, you're more likely to make decisions that protect your mental health and avoid falling into toxic dynamics. Another benefit of educating yourself is that it allows you to understand the underlying tactics the narcissist may use to keep you in their orbit. Narcissists are skilled at creating confusion and self-doubt in their victims, making them question their perception of reality. By recognizing these tactics, you can more easily navigate their manipulations and protect your emotional stability. It's also helpful to know that you're not alone in dealing with this behavior. There are countless others who have experienced similar forms of abuse, and many support networks are available to offer advice and encouragement. Furthermore, educating yourself about narcissism helps you understand that their behavior is not a reflection of your worth. Narcissists often try to make their victims feel inferior or responsible for their actions. By understanding that narcissistic behavior is rooted in their need for control and validation, you can avoid internalizing their criticisms or manipulations. Instead of feeling responsible for their emotional state or actions, you can recognize that their behavior is a product of their own issues and not a reflection of your value as a person. In summary, knowledge is one of the most effective tools for protecting yourself from narcissistic manipulation. By educating yourself about narcissistic behavior and manipulation tactics, you gain the ability to recognize red flags, anticipate their actions, and respond in ways that safeguard your emotional well-being. Understanding their need for control, validation, and superiority enables you to detach emotionally, avoid being manipulated, and make informed decisions that allow you to protect yourself and regain control of your life.